Jennifer Kanary. I'm very proud that we could have her. And there were, in the ISPS, there were many people who asked for virtual reality because that's an exciting new method to know someone who is psychotic better, and also an exciting tool to use in treatment. So that we are very glad to have you. Jennifer is an artist and will tell a personal story. So it's a secret. And I'm not telling anymore because that's a secret. Right. Okay.
Not for long.
Jennifer.
It's 2005. It's a hot summer's day, just like today, but it's Bulgaria. My sister-in-law thinking, oh, it's so hot. I'm going to go meet my friend and ask if she wants to go swimming with me. So she goes to her friend's house. It's an apartment building, actually. She knocks on the door, but her friend isn't home. Shoot, I'll wait for her. She waited and waited, and it's really hot. It's one of those old apartment buildings with no air conditioning. And she sees the window. And the window is one of those still old-fashioned apartment buildings that you can open in Bulgaria. Safety regulation is different. And she's sitting and waiting. And then she says, I'm going to dangle my legs. 2 hours she sat there. And then she jumped. So she died by suicide in a state of psychosis. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that today. And my journey in searching about her experiences. So this is her when she was a kid. And after her death, I realized, shoot, I'm an artist. And I didn't ask her while she was alive what her experiences were. I just accepted them for what they were, but never asked her. And I did look it up. I did look up hallucinations and delusions. But only after her death, I realized, yeah, those words it's a black box. They don't tell me anything about her experiences. So as an artist, I began an artistic research journey, a PhD, with a working title, Creating and Using Immersive, Labyrinthine, Wearable, Multimedia, Interactive Installation Art as a tool that could help better understand the subjective experiences of psychosis. As titles go. But basically it's psychosis simulation, how to do that, and why is it important to do. Now we always need to show a disclosure sign. Worked with over 60 parties over the last 13 years. And so these are some of them. So now you know. My research led to 2 research results. The Labyrinth, which is in Amsterdam. If you're interested, let me know in my studio. And the Wearable, which we brought here today for you. Now the Wearable simulates approximately 33 subjective experiences of psychosis. And I wanted to first show you a little bit about my artistic research journey, but I first need a volunteer who would be interested in experiencing the simulation live in front of an audience. Now, normally where I go, there's hands right away, and thank goodness there is. I have some questions though, safety reasons. It's an art project, and therefore at your own risk, but it is VR. And we always ask if people suffer from epilepsy or migraines, because you can get triggered by moving images on your eyes. All games have that, so that's a question. And if you have experience with psychosis, it would be good to know, because actually my experience of people with experience of psychosis is that they can handle this quite well, because they already have strategies for dealing with multiple realities at the same time. But otherwise, you're more than welcome to join on stage.
I have, so.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to risk it, but the question is, will it be as effective on you as it is on other people?
We'll
Which,
see. We'll We'll see.
We'll see. You're welcome to try. You have, okay, that might be better for the audience, because the effect of multiple realities is much harder on a person who has no experience with psychosis. Yeah, we have a thank you. You can try it afterwards if you want. Yeah? Okay, we'll do that. Come on up. We have a handheld mic, and Ike will explain the technology to you while I show a video of the research. Yeah, so Ike is here today. She's one of our guides. We have about 10 of them who helps guide people through this experience because it needs a little bit of help. So she's going to just explain how the technology works, and you will see this video. Sound. So he will go into the mind of a girl named Jamie. She has psychotic experiences and has having difficulty communicating with her network. So it's like we're in the future and we can all enter her mind and see what she's seeing, hear what she's hearing, and
They don't know for this experiment, how will we link your mind to the mind of a girl named Jamie. Jamie is currently located at your guide's wall. By gathering to the mind of her experiences, you will be making a valuable contribution to her recovery.
what is this? So that was a 1-minute journey into my research journey of at least 7 years, to give you an idea of what it's like to be inside Jamie's mind. And once he presses start, he will be able to see you, but he will slowly be sucked into Jamie's mind and slowly become Jamie. So yeah, in a moment we're gonna see that happen live. We never know how a person will react, so this is also for us a surprise, but the computer experience has been designed to be unique per person. So also the computer will choose certain experiences, so either he'll have very pleasant voices or very nasty voices. We don't know what he's going to get. So we will react to that and we will play a role. It is called do-it-yourself psychosis for a reason. If any of you want to now also help us play a role, play the role of a doctor, test your techniques, or just play the role of an angel on the shoulder or the demon on the shoulder, please just jump in, trust your instincts, and let's make this truly an understanding of what it's like to deal with all these realities happening at the same time. If we prepare somebody in advance, we're often accused of prepping a person and that it's not real. So that's why I'm reluctant to prepare him in advance and behind and show up with him, because it should be spontaneous. Yeah? Sorry about this. I can fix this. I will hold yours for you.
Yes, so Danny?
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah?
How are you?
What do you see? You're holding my hand.
I see you.
Yeah.
I see my hand.
Okay.
And
Wow, you never see your hand normally?
that's pretty interesting.
You find
And I
your
see
hand-
the audience.
You find his hand interesting.
He's holding it for a very long time.
Yeah. So Danny,
Yes.
are you left or right-handed?
I write with my left hand, but my strength comes from my right hand.
So can you put I need your hand
Okay.
pull through the, oh, you're going to use that hand, okay. Great, so here, let's see, I give you the Wii, the controller.
Okay.
So, and you have the button, huh? You
I have the
remember.
trigger, yes.
I forgot to tell you something, on the front side, there's also a little plus, that one.
Am I feeling it right now?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So you see it well. So
Yes.
when you press that one, you can just make it a little bit more intense.
Okay.
You know, you can maybe have some more voices.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, sorry, Jennifer. Okay, so you can push the button on the back side and you can start.
Okay.
So Danny, good luck.
You know you can't trust her.
Is it working, Danny?
It's working.
They're all looking at you.
Good. Just listen to the instructions.
Yes, I'm hearing them.
You're smiling.
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
stay concentrated.
So I don't exist, and the
Listen to
technology
the-
he's carrying doesn't exist. That is our premise. And we will
Okay.
react to it as if he is not wearing this, and that is our role. You're here to tell a little bit about yourself, right? You're
I'm
going to
sorry?
give a lecture?
I'm listening to the directions right now.
To who are you talking to, Danny?
I'm supposed to.
You're stuck?
No, I'm just pressing start right now.
You're starting right now.
Yes.
What are you starting with, Danny?
Okay, right now I see a hallway.
A hallway.
Yes. Processing.
Are you going to start your lecture?
My lecture.
They're waiting for you?
Hmm.
Danny?
Yes.
So, did you get an assignment?
An assignment.
Yes?
You mentioned lecture earlier.
Hey,
I'm
I'm
not
waiting for you
talking-
to begin your lecture. The audience is waiting. Are you okay?
I'm doing well.
Can I help you?
You can help me figure out what my lecture is supposed to be.
What are you doing with your hand?
Right now, I'm swinging the joystick left to right. Something just told me to
Right.
move my arms.
You have to move your arms.
Yes.
Okay, well, go ahead. Move them.
In the beginning, there's often
The phone's
resistance to the
ringing.
narrative. People are going to want to keep control. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but very slowly,
Why
even
do
he
you have
will
to move your
have to
arms?
succumb to
actually?
Jamie's experiences.
Because I just heard a voice telling me to move my arms.
So right now,
You heard a voice?
Yes.
the voices of Jamie won't let her and let
Alright.
him into
So
her
I
mind.
see the
He
whole
has
right
to
now.
do what her
So we
voices are
walk a
telling
little
him.
bit.
Okay. Well, I'm okay.
If he doesn't do what the voices tell him, they
Are
won't let him
you
in.
worried about something, Danny?
It tells me to do something. Just do
Maybe-
it. Do
yeah,
it.
do
It's
it.
telling me to do.
Walking, you mean?
Am I supposed to walk? Am I supposed to work on my presentation?
You're supposed to move. You're supposed to move.
I'm supposed to.
What
move.
are you? Maybe you have to shake your arms more.
So I'm supposed to do my presentation, shake the joystick, and move my arms.
Who are you talking to?
I'm sorry?
I'm not saying anything, Danny.
Oh, I'm hearing your voice.
I wasn't saying anything.
It's
So we just.
okay. Oh, I know what to do. Here we go.
What's happening? What are you looking at?
Looking at a screen. Let's see here. Some steps.
Maybe you have to move your arms more. Is it something with your heart? Is your heart working well?
Sometimes we have to help
It's
them.
working well.
They don't do what the
Okay.
voices tell them to do.
Somebody
You'll
just
get
went to
stuck.
the hallway, just made a right.
What? I don't see any hallway, Danny.
Yeah, but who are you?
I'm Ike. I'm introducing
Can we have
myself
somebody
to
who
you.
wants to play the
He's
role of
standing
doctor
there.
and ask a
I
question?
don't see any
Let's
image.
just walk a little bit.
Do we have anybody
Danny,
who
I'm
wants
worried
to help
about you.
participate and make this an extra layer? Because he's very strong in keeping his reality. We
Shall
need to
we
break
walk a
through
little bit,
this.
Danny?
I'm sorry?
Shall we walk a little bit?
Nobody. Come on, this is
can I walk a little
ISPS.
bit?
Yeah.
Yes, I can walk.
Everybody's all of a sudden afraid and sitting there.
It's not easy, huh?
We're not
walking
afraid of
sometimes.
psychosis.
Okay.
Yeah? You're not so sure if you want to walk?
I know that there's a stage over there. Somewhere.
Okay, I'll play the role of doctor.
Well, we're not in a theater here, Danny.
Well,
We
I'm
are.
really-
So your
Yes.
family member brought me to my office, and they're very concerned about you.
Why are they concerned about me?
Well, they feel that you're not doing so well, that you're finding it difficult to function. Is there any way we can help you?
I'm
Danny, do you
assuming-
really think you're on stage?
I'm sorry?
Do you really believe you are on a stage?
Well, I was on a stage. Ay.
What's going on, Danny? Are you where are you?
Danny, I'm trying to help you. Is there anything I can help you with?
All right. Give me just a second.
Danny, I'm here? What are
They're
you
laughing
looking
at
for?
you.
I'm looking for you.
You don't see me?
Oh, I see you, but you're
Oh, that's
coming in
good.
and out of the frame.
I mean, but I didn't move. I was standing
In a
here all the
frame.
time.
Oh, were you?
A frame. I'm standing on the
She's a
stage.
painting.
Okay.
Are you a painter? Do you like painting?
I like music.
Nice.
Okay, let's see. Press the button to open Jamie's eyes.
What's going on?
Following
What are you? To who are you talking? Whose directions are you following?
Somebody, yes.
Someone is talking to
We
you?
are trying to help you. Could you explain something about why maybe you think your family is worried?
Okay, I need to stop for a second because so many things are happening at the same time.
I wonder why.
So I think I need to choose. Okay, press the button to open Jamie's eyes.
What are you
He's
talking
mumbling.
about?
I don't understand what he's saying.
Who is Jamie? Is that a family member?
I'm sorry?
Who is Jamie? Is Jamie a family member?
I don't know who Jamie is.
Okay, why are you talking to the air? I'm really here to help you. Your family's very worried. I would really like to help you and try and understand why your family is so worried.
What are you trying to help me with?
Your family is very worried. You haven't
About
gone.
what?
You haven't gone to school for over 2 weeks. You don't listen to them. That is their complaint.
Shall we just walk a little bit?
Okay.
Because I'm worried about you. You're standing
worried.
so
Hmm.
standing all the time.
Oh, I hope people are not leaving for. Okay.
Oracle might help me.
The oracle will
First,
help
I'd
you.
like to see the Oracle. It's my buddy.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
I'm thinking that you need to go exercise, don't you? You have been standing still for a long time, and it's good to move your body.
Let's go move my body then.
Come with me.
Who are you?
Maybe you'd like to tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm an occupational therapist.
You're an occupational therapist. Okay. Does my family know about this?
Yes, they know about this. We spoke to the doctor about it, and the doctor agrees that it's nice for you to come out and move.
Okay, give me just a second. I need to follow directions here.
Yeah, he's here to help you, Danny.
Yes.
What's cool?
The colors.
Colors?
Yes.
What colors?
What are you seeing? What are you seeing, Danny?
I'm seeing the audience. Oops.
Not in front of me.
Are you coming with me? It's nice outside.
Does
It's
somebody
nice
else
weather.
want to try? Because then we see the different reactions. This is,
Okay.
we don't know what we're
Okay.
going to get, and it's
Yes.
Just
absolutely
looking a
not
bit
meant as a
different.
spectacle. So I really hope people didn't leave
Different?
because
Okay,
they
I see.
experienced it
Looking
as that.
different? What do you mean I'm looking different?
Okay. Well, hang on just a second here.
What would you like to do?
I'm sorry?
It's
What
a
would you
12-minute
like to do?
experience, so
I
We're
would
halfway.
like to stop for a second
Okay.
and take things one step at a time. But I'm hearing so many voices, it's really hard to focus, to pick something. I'm looking at a power outlet right now. And I'm trying to reconcile all the
Thank you
things
for
that I've been
joining us.
hearing. You want me to exercise? I should.
Yes, you should. Let's have some walk around. Or maybe you can just tell me what you see here.
I see a power outlet.
Do you know anyone here? Sitting here in the audience?
Man, there's a lot going on.
You don't
There's
know
a lot,
anyone?
I'm hearing a lot of voices, but I'm only seeing a power socket.
A power socket. What do you mean with the power socket?
Yeah,
Why are you looking at the
something
power
into the
socket?
wall.
You need to charge your phone, Danny? Is that what you mean?
I think my phone, I don't even know where my phone is. It's put up on my seat
You
right
can go
there.
look for it.
Someone is.
There are stairs. I'm like, yes.
How are you?
I'm
How
sorry?
are you? I'm your mom.
My
Don't you
mom.
know me? Don't you know me?
I
Can't you recognize me?
don't recognize your voice, and I don't think you're my mom.
Oh, yes, I'm your mom.
Let me see if you smell like my mom.
We're slowly breaking through conventions.
Even
It's a
speaking
difficult
English,
case.
That's why.
And what?
You have That's what I mean lately. Haven't seen you for a long time.
You can't trust different accent.
Yes, it happens. It
Maybe I have
happens.
You
multiple
can't trust
voices.
yourself. Don't trust
No,
her.
maybe.
Away from her. Move away. Move away. You can't.
Coming out into the sunshine and exercising a bit will make you feel better.
Really? What type of exercise?
You can't go outside. You can't.
Go for a walk if you want.
What?
Don't go outside. You
It's
can't
good
go
to
outside.
and walk.
Oh my gosh.
You can't go outside.
Have you done any exercising before?
Oh, can I
Danny?
just deal with one person at a time?
Danny, hello? Danny? Hi.
She's not real.
I think we were going for a walk, Danny. Hello?
Let's go for a walk.
With who are you talking? I tried to have a conversation with you and talk with you, but you're not paying any attention.
Are you my mom?
No,
I'm not your mom, no.
You're my mom now.
Yes,
I knew I had more than one mom. I'm sorry?
Yeah, we're going club.
I'm sorry?
We're going dancing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're going dancing. Come on, Jack. Yeah.
No, you can't go dancing. It's dark outside. You can't go dancing. No, you can't. Don't go. Don't go. You can't go. You're not allowed to
Yeah.
go.
Man, I
You
love
can't
dancing.
go.
You love dancing?
You can't go.
I love dancing. Come on. Yeah.
It says I'm pregnant with...
Come on, come on.
what is happening?
You just told me
Okay,
that.
there's so many things I can
But
follow
you,
the
you
instructions.
remember calling me?
Hey!
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, you just...
Try not to step into the
Yeah, so let's go.
Danny,
Yes.
I would like to take a photograph of you and your mother because I would like for you to have a nice memory.
I'm okay, I don't need a picture right now. Thank you.
From the back.
I'm sorry.
I would love to have a picture of you with me.
Let me just...
Wouldn't that be nice?
Let me see, let's go.
Yes.
Johnny.
The audience is waiting for you, Danny. The audience is waiting for you. Please, will you begin your presentation? I've been very patient.
What are you
We're
doing,
very
Danny?
patient here at ISPS, but it would be lovely. Are you able to present?
Holy cow.
Are we going dancing,
What's
man?
going on?
Come on, let's go dancing. Hey, the guy's waiting. The guy's waiting. Come on. The guy's
Trust
waiting.
him. You can't trust him. You can hear your thoughts. You can't trust him.
Of course we need to have a photo.
No, we need to go dancing right now, man. Right now. Hey.
The audience is waiting.
No, we need to go right.
They can wait.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm taking pictures of you now.
Hey,
along
hey,
with
hey,
your
hey.
mom.
Not cool. Not cool.
Not cool, man.
Not
Okay,
cool.
I will stop.
That's a good idea.
Not cool.
You doesn't want to have a picture with me?
Danny,
Yeah,
with
I'm
who are
so
you
sorry.
talking
I
on?
know
Let's
it's.
just walk.
He's been like this for 2 weeks, and we don't know what's going on with him. He's muddling in
Danny?
himself, and we're so worried about him. He's
Where are you
acting
going,
weird and
Danny?
making weird movements, and it's
What are you doing?
so hard.
Well, he sometimes calls
Danny,
me,
what are you doing?
Yeah, he always.
What are you doing? Where are you going?
but it's very difficult. And
Where are you going? Don't be aggressive, Danny. Are you going to hit me?
I'm not gonna hit you.
Sure? What is this hand doing here? Why are you doing this? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, hey, gosh, Danny.
What's the edge of the stage?
What's up?
Are you okay, Danny?
We're gonna go dancing. I'm gonna be dancing with
With
you.
who are you talking?
You wanna dance? With this guy here taking pictures?
We're not dancing with this guy.
Let's go now. Where's the music?
Yeah, where's the music? Where's the music? Where's the music?
What are you saying, Danny?
Where's the
You
music?
wanna dance?
We can dance, sure. Let's dance.
That's good.
Let's dance. Where's the music? But we don't have any
Do you have
music.
the right shoes?
I have, yeah, you think? This dance shoes?
Let's go.
Okay, let's dance.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, let's dance.
Where are we going now? Tango? Okay, do we have the right shoes?
Yes, you don't have the right shoes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Is that tango?
Man, I need a break. So much going on.
But who are you talking?
I'm talking to Ganja right here.
Who's Kanja? Who's Kanja?
I don't know, there's no one here.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Listen, let's go dancing, all right? All right. I'm hearing so many other voices. Yeah, but this
Listen, I'm the only voice.
it's kind of weird looking.
Danny, did you drink something? You're walking a little bit.
Who are you? Who are you? Why is your arm like that?
I'm sorry?
Why is your arm like that? The audience is still waiting for you. You're there to educate them.
I just need to take a break.
Where are your shoes?
I thought we were going out to exercise.
Where are your tango shoes? Your shoes.
Are you not coming?
Can you listen to me? Focus.
The shoes, man, the shoes.
Danny, where are you going?
See, this is a long time ago when you have been dancing with me. Yes. Can you?
Then,
No? Not like
Can you hear the music?
Danny?
oh, you got the shoes.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
No?
You got the shoes. Let's go.
What are you doing?
It's just
Danny? The audience is waiting. Can you talk to me, please? What, were you touching me in a bit inappropriate?
Danny, hello. Can you talk
This
to
is
me?
nuts, man. I don't know who's touching me, but
Can you talk to me?
the voices are way too loud.
Hello? You don't see me?
I can't hear anything else but
me?
just a bunch of voices. Oh my gosh.
You got your shoes. You got your shoes. Danny. Yo, Danny. I'm here.
That is wild.
I'm here. Buy your shoes, man. You're walking barefoot, man.
I wish I could take a picture of what I'm seeing.
And
What are you seeing?
Is that an interest of yours? Do you like taking pictures, Daddy?
you got your shoes?
Danny?
Yes.
Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. No joke. No, it's not meant as a joke. Give your mic. Yeah.
Wow. If, and I say only if, this is at all remotely close to what it is like, this is something that every therapist or caregiver should experience. Every single one of the caregivers or the therapist need to experience this. This is wild. There's absolutely no control in a state like that. You're out of control. And you come in and out of reality. Yes, I knew that. My friend Kanja was asking me to go out and dance. Yeah, you know. And I went, okay, I could relate to that in that sliver of time, in that moment. But that was quickly interrupted by somebody else calling me. So here I was trying to grasp at reality for a quick moment. All right, we're gonna go dancing. Suddenly, something else happened. So you're in this blender, you know, and you're trying to make sense out of it. And Danny, I want to help you. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Can you see what I see? Do you feel what I feel? Guys, it's intense. There's absolutely no sense of control. As you may have seen at one point, I felt like there was so much going on. I said, you know what? I need to be against the wall. I need something so that I can get a perspective as to what's happening in my physical world. There's too much going on. Too many voices. How do you shut them up? So what do we do? What's being done for this kind of state? They tranquilize me? I don't know. Guys, I've never had, as far as I can tell, an experience like that. As far as I can remember. I know friends and family members who've gone through something similar, I think. But I'm not even gonna be arrogant enough to say, oh man, I get what you were going through. Mine are hearing voices, okay, I can imagine that. You can't imagine it. You can't. You can't read it in a book and say that's what it is. Guys, this is no joke. Zero control. And I go back to what I was trying to do. I was looking for control by going against the wall. You know, I want something to push against. To feel. Because I'm just tumbling, voices, questions, directions. And I can only imagine what it's like for somebody walking through the streets and having an experience like that. If most of us are doing fairly okay, we can read signs, okay, stop, okay, little guy, cross the street now. Oh, okay, ooh, there are bicycles, oops, well. Negotiating all this, this is, and again, caregivers and therapists, and this is my personal, I've never met you before. I've never seen this, I've never experienced this. All I know is that I've had family members who have gone and had some experiences. And all I did was, hey man, I love you. I was like, what? I love you, man. I don't care what you've gone through. I love you completely and unconditionally. When everybody else thinks you're broken, I don't care, man. I love you for no reason whatsoever. And then suddenly, whew, it was like, really? I'm like, yeah, man, that's it. You're fine, you're good. You're an amazing soul, an amazing human being. And somehow, I feel like just saying that to my cousin, to my friend, because he felt a connection. Besides that, I can't go in that world with him. It's completely out of control, guys. I don't know if you could see the screen or hear anything. Could you?
No,
You could not.
that's on purpose, so that the mystery remains. If you see it, you will know our tricks to create that for him. And this is, yeah.
You know, and the voices, nah, man. And you know, I can only imagine you want this to stop. I mean, I've experienced just a few minutes of this. If you said, I don't know, just a few minutes, and even that time, forget about time. You can't, time is linear. At 3 o'clock, I'm going to do this, 4 o'clock. Okay, as you're moving, something else is tapping you. People are tapping me on my shoulders, asking me questions. When somebody asks you a question, you're supposed to process, okay, that's my mom. Hey, mom, how are you? Okay. But hang on, that's not my mom. And you're trying to make sense out of it, and then something else happens. So, what keeps coming to me is, I'm alone. I'm completely alone in this. Completely. Absolutely, I'm like, forget, I'm on a planet and there's nobody that gets me, nobody to calm down the voices. I mean, those voices, guys, it's just like, oi. This is really something. And trying to make meaning, just find meaning out of it. I'm seeing colors at one point. Then what I'm looking at turns into a negative image. So then the teeth are real white and the eyes are all weird. I'm like, whoa. Sounds. A sound from over here, from over there. Okay. Asking different questions. This is not a joke.
Thank you so much. And like I said, we never know who we're going to get. And I've never had such a beautiful, poetic description of the experience afterwards. So I'm really grateful. Can we have another applause, please? Thank you. I was quite worried at the beginning, but usually there's magic, and I wanted to show you the magic. So thank you so much. You brought that magic. And thank you to everybody who helped bring that magic. A community you shows you right away on stage that can shift the situation. So thank you also to Ike for helping us in this journey. This is like a mind journey. It's I was worried because people walked away, and I was worried that it was hurtful, and that's hard. And I never expected to be controversial at ISPS because it's my story and how I try to understand psychosis. And it has helped so many other people understand, so that's why I'm doing this, otherwise I would have stopped a long time ago. But when I began my journey, What is Psychosis?, I learned so much about all these different cultures having different visions of psychosis that I wanted to create something that, as an art piece, connected all those different stories, bridged those different stories by focusing on the tactile experiences. Because when I thought about how to simulate it, and there were all these different stories, I just had to ask the people what they see and what they heard. So that's what I did. And online, there's many simulations from people with experiences, and I used that as inspiration. I didn't read psychiatry. I'm not interested in what causes it that much, although the trauma aspect is very important, and that's what I did learn. What is important is what are you experiencing, and how does it affect you, your behavior, your ability to concentrate, and your stories. So it simulates approximately 33 subjective experiences of psychosis that I thought I could do with the technology at the time. And to divulge a little bit of what he was experiencing, he had a sensitive mic which did not allow him to separate what was important anymore or what was in the background and in the foreground, and that already plays with your reality. And everything that is in here is based on people's real stories and real quotes. So either the color white would start to shine, and okay, if the color white is shining and you're looking into somebody's eyes, what do you see? And each story of what a person will see will be different, and that means it's an open narrative. What do you see when reality becomes fragmented or is experienced as fragmented, or time and space become distorted, or that you can't run away from an image that's so symbolic? It automatically creates that experience of loss of contact. We couldn't contact him at one point because it's a slow degradation into Jamie's mind. The loss of concentration or the feeling of apathy is immediately there to anybody who undergoes this. And it immediately triggered altered behavior. Never had anybody dance that much on stage. But what it taught me is that everybody is unique, and everybody has unique stories and reacts to stories differently and reacts to altered experiences of senses differently. And so that's why I chose a computer which I don't know what I'm going to get. So everybody will meet the oracle, and everybody will have over the power of color, but I don't know if they're going to share that information. But what I do know is that the computer chooses voices in the atmosphere to make it a completely different story. It's either fun or negative or playful. So the success of the design is based on 5 design principles, which I now call 5 pillars of considerations, were basically just 5 questions I was asking. And I use anoixis as a premise, because anoixis is the name of the Dutch patient-client organization, and anoixis means open mind, and that is the basic premise of my research, is what does it mean to have an open mind? Why do people describe psychosis as thin-skinnedness, or that the filter is gone? What makes you so vulnerable? What is coming in? So I ask, what are you experiencing? What story are you sharing? What happened to you? What are your vulnerabilities and triggers, and what do you need? Those are the 5 questions that I use to build this narrative and the interactions and the experiences. Now, for the past 2 years, I was wondering why this was such a success, because I really didn't expect it, and I'm really talking thousands, and we're training police officers in the Netherlands now, and people in prisons, and many mental health care workers, and it's overwhelming for me because I'm never meant to be a company in psychosis simulation. I was just an artist in search for understanding her sister-in-law and dealing with my own trauma through art in that situation. But for the past 2 years, I've tried to make it to an understandable, coherent mapping of what all psychosis is to me as I understand it, based on those 5 questions of altered senses. But as an artist, I want to go further than the 5 senses. We have proprioception, that is the sense that knows at all times where the boundaries of your body are. And I think that is affected in psychosis just as much as your sense of time or space or boundaries or the sense of the other or the sense of meaning or the sense of convention and the sense, je snapt wat ik bedoel. En ik denk dat dat voor mij ook waarnemingen en zintuigelijke waarnemingen zijn, maar een ander soort. Oh, see, I don't even know what I'm doing. I go to Dutch. I don't know why. So, I think we have more senses. If we take the concept of sense and alter the concept of what a sense is, we could better understand the experiences of psychosis and then understand the stories that are being created. Because what I learned is that in psychosis, your imagination or your thoughts can become so powerful that an association can be experienced as a real reality. I found that incredibly fascinating. And then every story, every person I ever spoke to, there's always some high impact events in mapping that you can choose from. It's either bullying or coming from a loving home and moving to a city far away and feeling so lonely, or the girlfriend just broke up because you moved away, and then you take drugs because you never did it, but now you're a student, you can do it, and then you don't sleep, and then you can't do your exams, and then it's a mix. So it doesn't always mean you had a negative childhood with trauma. No, you can have a wonderful childhood and still end up in psychosis because you have vulnerabilities and hormonal, chemical, genetic vulnerabilities, hormones. I think it's Wouter Kussers himself who says that love is the most underestimated trigger of psychosis. So I will be using this tomorrow, and I'll go to that. I'll skip this part. I'll return to my sister-in-law. For me, the mapping helps me understand her experiences in a way that is subjective. I don't know if it's true, and I'll never know if it's true, but I do know, talking about the topic of migration, her father was a diplomat and moved the whole family to New York during the communism. And she ended up in the Western world when she was, I think, I'll lie, about 10. And then her mother entered a psychosis, so there's a genetic factor. Her mother had the diagnosis of schizophrenia at one point, so her father had to bring the whole family back to Bulgaria. And by the time she was 16, she ran away from home because she couldn't deal with the issues that were going on, and who knows what happened there. Something happened, the family thinks, but we don't know what. So it helps me to understand. I won't go too deep into it, but I can do that tomorrow. And in that sense, I follow Eleanor Langdon's concept of psychosis as a sane reaction to insane circumstances. In fact, the psychic phenomenon is a creative and ingenious survival strategy of the brain, or the mind, or the spirit, that should be seen not as an abstract symptom of illness to be endured, but as a complex, significant, and meaningful experience to be explored. And so tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, if you are interested, I will divulge the underlying design principles. No, you're not hallucinating, the thing is not on, it's still on. In the Rijkenvorstelzaal, and we will do a creative exploration workshop in small groups where you will explore your own senses, your needs, your associations, your trauma, etc., and design your own narrative of psychosis. And I hope to do this as a second-person empathic resonator, where the expert, the scientist, the doctor, is looking at an experience, and then you have the first person who has the experience, and in some way can I find a way to translate that subjectively to family members, to police officers. Police officers don't understand why people don't react. Now they do. They hear the voices. Okay, now we just have to be more patient and not take it personally or not see it as threatening that somebody's not cooperating. Because how many people end up in a cell just because they're not reacting? Okay, we want to stop that cycle of elements that is so bad for recovery. So this is now the company, because our minds matter and our thoughts matter. And if you have any questions, I will always answer them. So thank you so much for your patience to be here on this very hot day.